It sounded like a tabloid fantasy, but insiders say it was deadly serious. Behind palace walls, long before the headlines exploded, Meghan Markle allegedly issued a threat that left even the most powerful royals frozen in disbelief. Her words were simple, but the consequences? Potentially catastrophic. If Harry ever leaves me, I'll take the entire monarchy down with me. Not a rumor whispered by distant sources. This was, according to reports, a direct warning, a personal vow that transformed a troubled marriage into a ticking time bomb for one of the world's oldest institutions. For years, tensions between Meghan, Harry, and the royal family simmered behind closed doors. But this was different. Suddenly, their fractured relationship wasn't just tabloid fodder, it was a matter of survival for the crown itself. And as whispers of betrayal, legal battles, and scandalous secrets surfaced, one question echoed across the world. Could Meghan Markle really bring down the British monarchy? But the real shock? It wasn't just empty words. What came next would prove Meghan wasn't bluffing. For months, Harry stayed silent. The public saw the staged smiles, the joint appearances, the carefully crafted image of unity. But behind the scenes, a storm was brewing, and Harry was preparing for war. Insiders reveal that after uncovering Meghan's alleged threat, Harry made the kind of move no one expected from the once rebellious prince. He hired a legal weapon, not from London, not from the palace's trusted legal circles, but a feared cutthroat lawyer from New York, known for tearing reputations apart and silencing the most dangerous opponents. This wasn't some divorce attorney handling messy paperwork. This was a specialist, the type you call when everything's on the line. The mission? To eliminate Meghan from his life. Legally, surgically, and permanently. It wasn't just about walking away from the marriage. According to sources, Harry's move was a preemptive strike, a desperate attempt to shield the monarchy from the nuclear fallout he feared was coming. Because Meghan wasn't just threatening to leave, she was allegedly preparing to dismantle the monarchy itself, one explosive secret at a time. But what exactly did Meghan have on them? That answer would shock even Harry. It turns out, Meghan hadn't been sitting idly by. While the world watched her every public move behind closed doors, she was allegedly building something far more dangerous. A personal archive of royal secrets, not just gossip or harmless family drama. We're talking confidential emails, voice recordings, financial files, even whispered conversations about succession, backroom power struggles, and the private grievances that the royal family never wanted the public to hear. According to palace insiders, Meghan had access. As Harry's wife, as a former royal, she sat at the same tables, attended the same briefings, and overheard the most sensitive discussions within the House of Windsor. And every time a scandal simmered beneath the surface, she was allegedly there, listening, documenting, filing it all away. Some called it paranoia, others whispered it was strategic. Meghan's so-called insurance policy against a family she no longer trusted. But either way, the collection grew. And when Harry discovered what she was doing, that's when the entire royal crisis shifted into overdrive. Because the files Meghan had assembled weren't just personal grievances, they were, allegedly, weapons. And she was prepared to use them. But how did Harry find out? What he stumbled upon changed everything. For Prince Harry, the signs had been impossible to ignore. The late-night messages Meghan wouldn't explain. The encrypted phone apps, the quiet, calculated way she seemed to always be one step ahead of royal headlines, as if she knew the next scandal before it broke. At first, he dismissed it as coincidence, but deep down, Harry couldn't shake the feeling that something darker was unfolding. And he was right. It all came crashing down one ordinary afternoon inside their California estate. A forgotten tablet, Meghan's, left unlocked on the kitchen counter. Most would have walked away, but Harry's curiosity, or maybe his paranoia, got the better of him. What he uncovered shattered more than trust. It destroyed the illusion of their marriage. Tucked inside encrypted folders were files, dozens, maybe hundreds, meticulously organized with names, dates, and shocking details that no one outside the royal inner circle should ever possess. Emails revealing tense private conversations between senior royals, voice memos, secretly recorded, of Harry's own father and brother discussing succession plans and fragile health, matters the public never knew about. Financial documents hinting at offshore accounts, private settlements, even whispered fears of constitutional crises. But the most damning discovery? Draft agreements. Contracts half written, suggesting Meghan had been quietly negotiating with unnamed media outlets, possibly tabloids, streaming platforms, even international publications. The topic? selling access to what she called the untold truth about the crown. This wasn't just a scandal in the making. It was a nuclear threat to the British monarchy. For Harry, betrayal wasn't even the strongest emotion. It was fear. Fear of what would happen if these secrets leaked. Fear for his family's future. Fear for his own legacy. And in that moment, Harry knew the marriage wasn't salvageable. This wasn't about love, trust, or reconciliation anymore. It was survival. The question wasn't if Meghan would use the information, it was when. And so, Harry made the most ruthless decision of his life. The legal war was about to begin, and it would be uglier than anyone imagined. It didn't take long. The moment Harry confirmed Meghan's secret archive and her alleged backroom negotiations, he went into damage control. Not with quiet family meetings or tearful confrontations, but with legal firepower. Within days, top legal circles in New York were buzzing. Prince Harry had retained one of the most ruthless attorneys on the East Coast, a name whispered in elite circles, known for dismantling opponents with precision, discretion, and zero mercy. The task? Eliminate the threat Meghan posed, legally, completely, and permanently. What followed was a document so cold, so calculated, insiders called it the royal family's nuclear option, a cease and desist order, drafted in brutal legal language, designed to silence Meghan before she could unleash her so-called arsenal of secrets. But this wasn't just a typical gag order. Sources claim the document went further. Restrictions on public statements, publication bans, even clauses addressing digital materials, and any unauthorized recordings. It was clear. Harry wasn't just severing ties with Meghan, he was trying to erase the possibility that she could destroy the monarchy from the outside. But the timing couldn't have been worse. Meghan, already feeling isolated, now faced an ultimatum backed by legal might and royal pressure. And if Harry thought she would quietly comply, he was gravely mistaken. Because Meghan had been preparing her own legal counterstrike. And what she did next? It turned this royal war into an all-out global spectacle. If Harry thought a cease and desist would shut Meghan down, he underestimated her entirely. Because within hours of receiving the legal order, Meghan wasn't scrambling. She was mobilizing. Behind closed doors, her own legal team had been quietly preparing for this moment. And now, they unleashed their response with surgical precision. Emergency motions were filed. Fast, aggressive, and designed to flip the narrative. Meghan's lawyers accused Harry of violating her privacy, conducting unlawful surveillance, and attempting to control her voice through intimidation. But that was just the beginning. Sources say Meghan's team painted a picture far more sinister, suggesting that Harry's legal maneuver wasn't about protecting the monarchy. It was about silencing a woman who had suffered behind palace walls. She wasn't the villain, they claimed. She was the victim, a mother. A public figure, allegedly stalked and silenced for daring to challenge royal tradition. And then came the boldest move yet. Meghan's legal team demanded emergency protections over all digital materials in her possession. The files, recordings, emails, effectively stalling any attempt by Harry to seize or suppress the damaging information. The battle lines were drawn. What started as a private marital implosion had morphed into a global legal war, with both sides armed to the teeth. Not just with lawyers, but with secrets powerful enough to shake the monarchy's foundations. And as both legal teams clashed, another casualty emerged from the shadows. Their children, Archie and Lilibet. Two innocents, now at the center of a bitter war over power, privacy, and control. What Meghan and Harry fought over next? It wasn't just legal dominance. It was the future of their own family. The fallout from Harry and Meghan's crumbling marriage has already shaken the foundations of the British monarchy. But perhaps the most heartbreaking casualties are the two youngest players in this drama, Archie and Lilibet. From the very beginning, their children have been shielded from the worst of the media frenzy. But as tensions between their parents grew, so did the high-stakes battle over who controls not just their custody, but their very identities. Harry's camp has grown increasingly concerned that Meghan's camp is preparing to capitalize on Archie and Lilibet's royal status, transforming them from innocent children into marketable figures. Sources claim Harry fears his children could be turned into brands, leveraged for lucrative media deals, exclusive interviews, or even scripted appearances, all under the guise of protecting their privacy and legacy. Behind palace walls, whispers of commercialization and media rights have sparked fierce arguments between the two camps. Harry, ever protective, is said to be pushing hard for strict limits on any public exposure that might exploit his children for personal or financial gain. Meanwhile, Meghan's legal team argues they are simply trying to protect the children from the oppressive glare of palace tradition and invasive press. They claim their efforts are focused on securing Archie and Lilibet's privacy and ensuring the kids can grow up free from the strict control and scrutiny that defined Harry's own childhood. Yet, behind this battle over privacy and protection lies a far more strategic conflict: control over the narrative. In today's age, image is everything. Whoever shapes the story around Archie and Lilibet controls public perception, and with it, the future of the monarchy itself. Imagine exclusive interviews, tell-all documentaries, or scripted appearances tailored to shape the next generation's public persona. It's a world where the royal children aren't just heirs to the throne, they're media powerhouses with influence far beyond the palace gates. The royal family, traditionally secretive and private, is suddenly faced with a reality where the future of their legacy could be dictated not in Buckingham Palace, but on streaming platforms and tabloid covers. Amid these tensions, confidential reports say negotiations over custody terms, media control, and even schooling arrangements have become explosive. Both sides are reportedly leveraging legal teams, PR strategists, and family insiders to win what some call the most important battle of all. For Archie and Lilibet, the stakes are personal, but for the monarchy, they are existential. As this bitter custody battle rages on, the British crown braces itself for what could be its most defining moment in modern history. Because while Harry and Meghan fight over their children's futures, the monarchy faces a far bigger threat looming on the horizon. Behind the polished facade of Buckingham Palace, a crisis team is reportedly working around the clock. The British monarchy, an institution steeped in centuries of tradition, is now facing a challenge unlike any before. Meghan Markle's alleged threats, legal battles, and the explosive secrets she holds have pushed the crown into what insiders call a catastrophe map mode, planning for every worst-case scenario imaginable. This isn't just about a family feud anymore. It's a battle that threatens the very stability of one of the world's oldest constitutional monarchies. The palace's top advisors are said to be preparing strategies not only to protect the monarchy's reputation, but to shield the fragile fabric of the United Kingdom's political and social order. What's at stake? Everything. From public relations disasters that could spiral out of control to constitutional crises that might reshape the monarchy's role in modern Britain, the palace is reportedly bracing for shockwaves that could echo across continents. The royal family's concerns extend far beyond headlines and gossip. They fear that the exposure of internal rifts, financial controversies, or private grievances could fuel Republican movements, weaken the crown's influence, and strain diplomatic relations with key Commonwealth nations. Sources reveal that teams of lawyers, PR experts, and constitutional advisors have mapped out scenarios including media counteroffensives, legal battles in international courts, and even discussions about constitutional reforms that could diminish the monarchy's powers. But the public remains largely unaware of the scale of the crisis unfolding behind the palace gates. The stakes have never been higher. And at the center of it all stands Meghan Markle, a figure who, willingly or not, has become the catalyst for a constitutional drama decades in the making. Will the monarchy survive this storm, or is the House of Windsor on the verge of its most devastating collapse yet? One thing is clear. The royal family's story is no longer just about crowns and castles. It's about survival in a world where secrets, power, and media collide with unprecedented force. As the saga continues to unfold, one question hangs heavy in the air. Who will emerge victorious when the dust finally settles?